got my team and it's all I need.
What's going on, everyone? This is another episode of Game Time Excellence, where we talk about your mission, mindset, mastery, and maintenance. Today, we have another special guest. This is my first guest who, has as many YouTube followers as he does, as many Instagram followers as he does. He's a creative, man. I met him at a TEDx event in Virginia, and he gave a heartfelt speech that really touched me. And if you haven't listened to it, you should go listen to it after this right here. His name is Justin McClure. And for the people that don't know who you are, that should know who you are, can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a dad first, and I say that proudly because probably, 7 years ago, I never thought myself would be capable to be a dad or a husband, and I'm proudly those things, and I think I'm pretty good at those things. So I'm a dad to identical twins, Ava and Alexis, and my son Jersey, who's 2, and I'm a creative. I'm a producer, director, filmmaker, storyteller. We have a YouTube presence and a Facebook presence and Instagram and all that. And we make our living specifically now, strictly from a social media following, creating content. We work with brands and such like that. So I'm a part-time, I would say who I am really is somebody who is a concerned individual, trying to understand, the impact of what life means and why I'm here and how I can get the most out of it and live for pleasure, but also live to help as well. And, the longer I live, I think the more serious I take that is that to be happy that I'm actually living.
Right.
With that said, I think that's where I'm at now. Now, if you were to ask me 10 years ago who I was, it'd be a totally different person.
Right.
But mentioning the TED Talk that you talked about, a lot of the transformation that I've had is through personal change and, sobriety and stuff like that. So with that has been a ton of humility.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. Especially, you talk about time and getting the most out of life. My mom, as you heard during my speech, my mom passed away from cancer.
That's my wife. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and my mom passed away from cancer, and time is precious. Time is something you can't get back, and it's so important to reach our full potential and get the most out of our life right now. And so, how do you plan on doing that at this moment?
Getting the most out of my life?
Yeah, what are you doing to try to achieve that?
Well, for me, it's a lot of it is healthy body, healthy mind. So I try to stay in shape, and I don't mean that in a vanity way of going to the gym. I really try to stay in optimal health, meaning what I eat and how I look. For me, I don't have a lot of confidence, or my self-esteem doesn't feel great if I'm out of shape. So I'm constantly trying to stay in shape. I'm trying to stay in shape spiritually. I don't subscribe to any dogma or certain theologies. I'm a very spiritual person, but a lot of that is, like I said, really trying to understand the deeper meaning of what can make me calm. I can't achieve anything with a lot of stress in life. So how can I have a sense of equanimity and be calm so that I can be present for my kids and for myself? I find when I'm present, meaning my mind is still, I can be very much in the moment, and I can have great memories and great, great opportunities. So to achieve that, I'm trying to also be productive, because to me, a sense of accomplishment is also attached to achievement. If I'm not achieving, then I feel worthless. But I try to balance that by also saying, am I spending enough time with my kids and my family? I don't want to work too much, because then I feel guilty about not spending much time with my kids and my family. If I'm doing really great on the business side, I'm making great strides there, am I spending enough time with my kids and my family? So,
right.
And then outside of that, my biggest thing is I try to keep my life very, very simple. I don't get close to many people. Ironically, I spend no time on social media. I don't hang out on, these platforms commenting. I don't consume content. I create all the time. And other than that, I'm just spending time with my family. I'm trying to have personal development or stay in shape. I really, really try to keep it super, super simple.
Right. Okay. And that's pretty interesting that you say that. you being the content creator that you are, that you don't spend that much time on social media. Is there a particular reason? Just what's your reason for that?
It's not interesting to me. I don't. I think most of what I see online, and when I do go, it's mostly drama, or it's negative. It's not uplifting. It's not inspirational. I'm not saying this stuff's not out there, because it is, but I'm saying I think anyone who's really driven, who cares enough, they will create more than they consume.
Mm.
So for me, I would rather create that video rather than being influenced by something. I would just rather know and believe in myself that I'm smart enough to do it on my own without having to watch a ton of other content. So also, like I said, with social media, I think we're one of the only really positive families out there. You know, there's a lot of families that create YouTube content is negative, it's pranks, it's drama, it's clickbait. We're totally, you know, family driven and positive life lessons and that type of thing. So, but to be blunt, yeah, the main reason I don't is because it's just not interesting to me.
Right. No, I got you. And then, so as far as like, when'd you come up with that mindset? Where'd you get that as far as, you know, believing in yourself to the point where, you know, I don't need to see, you know, other people's content to influence what I'm doing. I believe that my content is driven by me and me only.
Well, it's certainly not ego driven, because I think now, you know, I still have, I'm still learning. I'm always learning, but I think it goes back to maybe about 8 years ago when I got sober, which is about what my TED Talk was about. I was a very insecure person. I think at the time I was making my living as a stand-up comedian. And now I can say honestly that I don't know that I loved comedy as much as I loved that the crowd would laugh at me and make me feel better. So you can tell from that sentence that my self-esteem needed that validation from people. I was insecure, so I wanted people to laugh at me, so I felt like I was funny, or I felt like I was, you know, women would go out with me, and I'm like, maybe I'm good looking, or all these different things. And so for me, I got to a point where, you know, like I said in the TED Talk, I saw a movie, a 30 for 30 called Unguarded, and I saw myself in that character, and I just saw a pitiful person, and I just said, you know what, I'm a grown man, I'm not a boy anymore. The time is now, and it's not tomorrow. And I just decided from that point on, I would start working on myself. And it wasn't overnight, but many years of therapy and self-help and isolation and all these different things built up my confidence, my self-esteem, my security. And before I knew it, I had accomplished so many different things without even trying to, because you can't seek out to make yourself more confident. You can't seek out to say, I'm going to be more secure. I think I had to work on a lot of these little things. The next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm not having to like date as much, or I'm not having to do these things anymore, because I feel better about being in my own body.
Right.
So you know, it was a lot of hard work, but I think to answer your question, it stemmed from me taking a hard look in the mirror and just not liking what I saw, and said, you know, I don't think I want to wait another day, because I'll just keep putting it off, and I'll live a miserable life, and I'll get Depressed. And who knows, you know, as an adult, you have these bad thoughts, you could kill yourself.
Right.
And to me, that's never an option, because I said, I want to live a great life. I want to live a life that I'm proud of and that I flourish in. And so I said, to me, to do that, I need to make better decisions right now.
Right. So what about now? Like, how do you deal with, you know, the ups and downs of life now to keep yourself, you know, steady with the right amount of confidence, the right amount of perseverance and all that?
Man, I think gratitude. It's like right now we're living in this unprecedented time, and you know, things are happening for us like everyone, but I'm just so grateful. I was telling my wife last night, I'm like, there's so many people that are losing businesses or their jobs, or like their income is not what ours is, or they've had somebody who's died or whatever. And it's like, my gratitude says, okay, well, Justin, what is the position you're in versus what other people are in?
Right.
I know what mine is. So instead of complaining about anything, it's just very grateful.
Right.
And also, I try to have the same approach. You know, I can still get on the basketball court. I could run. I can box. I can do all these things that I love to do. So my gratitude is that there's so many people that can't do these things.
Right.
You know, I'm a good storyteller, and I have great stamina. You know, as a business person, as a worker, and so that gives me gratitude. I have great endurance with my kids. Like, these things give me gratitude. I'm not the best at any of those things, but thinking about what I'm capable of doing gives me so much gratitude, because I know so many people who can't do any of those things.
Right. No, that's so true, man. Because, you know, I try to wake up every morning and put my hands on my heart and close my eyes and think about like 3 things that I can really feel emotionally grateful for. And you know, I know that changes my life, because you know, sometimes you have some ups and downs, and you know, it's easy to get caught up in complaining and wishing you would have something. But if you could slow down and remember, you know, you have eyebrows, you have, you know, hair on your head, you have clothes on your back, you have like all those different things, it would allow you to appreciate life a little more.
But yeah, but also complaining about it doesn't make you get it. Like if I complain about anything, doesn't mean it's going to happen for me. I'm just complaining about it.
Right. No, for sure.
So for me, I always think about putting my energy into places that can be effective. Because for me, complaining about stress in my life doesn't take stress away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
I have to eliminate the things that are causing the stress, and I can't do that by talking or complaining about it. You know?
Right. No, for sure. And so you built this. How long did it take you to build the audience that you have on YouTube and Instagram?
Well, I mean, you know, we're still building. You're always building, but
Right. No, for sure.
we got 1 million subscribers on YouTube like in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
We got probably, you know, on Facebook around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we had this ascension, and we just wrote it. And I just kept making content. I tried to understand the algorithms. Like, okay, what does Instagram want? Like, what do they respond to? What does YouTube want? And so there was more failure than success in the beginning. I would make videos that would bomb, they were not good, and I'd make one that was great. And I'm like, well, why was this one good and that one wasn't? Like, what can I do more of? So really, it's a lot of common sense, but it's really putting your ego aside and saying, because you really can't have a big ego with social media, because people will tell you how they feel, and people love to tell you they don't like something. So you have to listen to people, and it has to make you better. And if people can do that, they can thrive on social media if they have something they believe in worth talking about. So for us, it's basically like getting better at storytelling, trying to keep people's attention, getting better at my photography, and all those things. So basically listening to what people are saying and like understanding these algorithms. Slowly you like build. The next thing you know, brand deals start coming in, and next thing you know, I was looking at my income and I was saying, I'm making more income with this than I am my day job.
Right.
And then, we took the leap to do this full time. And since then it's like, we've made significantly more money than we ever did before. And me and my wife both had 6-figure jobs.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay. And so how do you deal with, your kids are involved, your wife is involved, and, when you're working with your family, how do you separate, the work and the family,
Oh man, dude, that is a good question. That's something I could talk about forever, because I've had to work on the past year. Let me choose my words carefully, because I want to make sure it comes out well. I'm trying to, I'm not good with working with kids, because I'm no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't work with kids that well, because you have to have more tolerance. So I've been working on my tolerance with my own kids.
Right.
But I've also taught them so many valuable things about how to listen, how to follow instructions, how to focus, how to pay attention. And my daughters are so amazing with how they're able to pay attention. So we've taught them amazing things. But what I've tried to work on is being more tolerant, being more patient, understanding that they are kids. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I do have to walk away. Sometimes I'm just like, this is taking too long. This is taking forever to do. Mm-hmm. And I have to walk away, and I come back a couple hours later. There is a balance, and it's tough, because I'm trying to say, am I being a good boss? Mm-hmm. And am I also being a good dad? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But as far as some people ask the question about, exploiting your kids. And for that, I say my kids are welcome. Mm-hmm. They are welcome, because the gifts they're being given at this age of like I said, how to focus and pay attention and these things, it's amazing. They would never be taught that. If they can work for me, they can work for anybody.
Right.
No, I mean, Shamiel, when I was 5 years old, I've told everyone this, I was raking leaves, I was building fences, I was we had a farm up in Georgia, and I was doing all kind of farm chores.
Right,
and it made me feel responsible. It made me feel like I had worth. Right. It made me feel like it gave me more confidence. Mm-hmm. So giving our girls and our kids more responsibility, we're also saying, hey, we believe you can do this. let's have your impact as well. We're going to achieve this as a family.
Right.
And the benefit of it is that my daughters and my son, my wife and I don't go to a building to work. We get to work out of our house as entrepreneurs, so we can
Right.
all be a close family. And being around each other so much, we do fight and we bicker and we argue sometimes, but it's all love. But and even last night, I can say that we had. I'm very transparent, by the way. But last night we had a family meeting,
Right.
and my daughter Alexis wanted to have a family meeting because she's like, Dad he hasn't been as tolerant lately.
Right.
And so I said, well, let me talk to me and tell me what I haven't been doing well. Well, Dad, you just been flying off the handle a little bit lately. Like, like earlier tonight when I said I was putting on my shoes to go outside, you said, now, come on. And I did. And I said, you know what? You're probably right. Let me, thank you for telling me that. So,
right.
So we have like these little family meetings that kind of keep us in check. But I think the mom and the dad also have to participate, not as a mom and a dad, but like as an equal, to say, okay, let me listen to my 6-year-old daughter and let me understand her feelings.
Right. And you know what's so funny about that? Like, you can translate that over to, a big corporation, because, as a leader, you should do the same thing for your employees. You should take yourself, just because your title says CEO, you should still be able to take yourself down and listen to the concerns of the employee that they have for you, and actually like listen and have empathy and take it into consideration. So that's really cool that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wish everyone did that, and I'm always trying to be better at it. I'm a stubborn person. I like I said, I'm like no nonsense. So it's like there's some things I'm wired a certain way, but I'm also still trying to get better.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And so mastering the skills that you have. Did you always like growing up? Were you always like a photographer and creative and videographer?
2002 to 2010, I think I made my living as a comedian. So I just, I didn't make a great living. It's very difficult, but I was a creative. So I was writing jokes and telling jokes and getting better at, all those things. And then when we decided to do this full time, I was already, kind of a decent photographer. I had a good eye, but my skills weren't mastered. But the way that I mastered it, and I get this question all the time, like, what schooling or this and that, I'm completely self-taught.
Right.
I think if you care about anything enough, you will learn. And now I'm at the point, and I don't mean this arrogantly, I mean it more humbly than anything, because I know what's gone into it. But I'm an expert. I'm a master. I'm a master filmmaker, photographer, creator, and I feel very confident about that. And that's because I have hours and hours, 10,000 hours in all different directions of failure.
Right. Okay.
And now,
I love it. Yeah.
Of so much failure. And now it's like yesterday we shot a video. It's out on YouTube today.
Right.
And it looks like it's a whole sitcom. But that's because I just know. But if I were to do that 10 years ago, that would take me a month.
Right.
And you know why? Because there'd be so much procrastination too. And that's another reason why I don't go on social media that much, because it's just a place to procrastinate. I put all that aside, and I'm like, right now is the time to create. So really, the mastery comes from, there's no shortcuts to just getting in there and like learning the software, or like, like I box. There's no shortcut to getting in there and like hitting the bag a million times. There's no shortcut.
Right. There's
no shortcut. In life, I feel there are no shortcuts.
Right.
And that's what pisses me off on Instagram and Facebook. You see these ads and everything's like, hey, I'll get you followers, or like, this is what you can do, and it takes you no amount of time. And it's just like, that's not how it works.
Right.
And there's also a sense of pride and worth in knowing that you put in the work.
Yep.
And so right now I can say, my mastery is in like, I'm trying to get even better at other things. And so I'm willing to put in the time into those things as well. And I think that at the end of my life, hopefully that's what makes me feel successful. And I've had a good life, is that I tried. I told my wife the other night, I said, it doesn't matter how many millions of dollars you have. Like, I love creating films and videos, and I would do it for free, because we have to do something with our time. If I could pay somebody to do all those things for me, what would I be doing? Would I be sitting around watching TV? Yeah. You still have to find something to do with your time that you love. And for me, like, I love telling stories. I love creating videos. I love documenting memories of my family. So I plan on getting better and better and better at that. hopefully we keep making good money at it because it's something that I would do pretty much for nothing because it's what I love to do.
Right, right. No, that's awesome. So, like, what's your mission now, though? You made it. You're this far with it, and I know you talked about, you would do this if it was free. But what's your ultimate goal, like with what you're doing now?
You know, my biggest mission is that to be an influence for like a positive family, to let people know that you can make it on, say, social media as a YouTuber or whatever, and you don't have to have negative content. Like you can be, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like if you're going to use your family for good gain and to be positive, then go for it because the world needs more of that. So what I tell people and myself is that I really believe that the work that we're doing is very important. The work my family has done is extremely important because we make people smile, we make people laugh, we make people feel good. A lot of people love our content because they don't maybe watch a lot of TV. We're a real family. They watch us and they say, man, I can feel the love between that family. And if we can do that and people can watch us and they can do that in their own family or with their own lives, then that's a big victory. So I think if I can keep doing that and do that on a bigger scale, then I'll be really, really happy. But the biggest thing is to keep doing that within my own family. And I think I can keep doing that. And that's the real goal, is just to keep having a happy family. Like right now, everyone's quarantined and like all these things are happening. Like we're fine. Like we get along well. We love each other. It's like there's no problems at all. And I'm super, super grateful for that.
Right, right. No, that's awesome. So speaking of quarantine, have you guys done any like fun games or anything like that during this period of time? What's some fun
if
games
you go on
guys do?
YouTube, today's video is called 30 Things to Do When You're Bored. So we did a video yesterday of 30 fun things that you can do when you're bored, like, a game or this or that, dance or whatever it is. And so we basically have been making content around that, like basically how to have fun at your house. And so basically, but these days are just pretty much typical days.
Right.
They're typical days for us. So, yeah, we've been doing some of that. We're not going stir crazy yet, but it is crazy times.
Yeah, yeah, man. Me and my daughter, we've been trying to go outside a lot more, just walk, because
Hold on a second. How old is your daughter?
6.
So she's 6. Okay, as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we've just been walking, and I don't know if you're in the phase of I guess your daughter's a 6 as
Yeah,
well.
they're 6. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been doing homeschooling, so I've been teaching her how to read, and man, the English language is so ridiculously dumb. Because you have like a word that's like to, and then you have like no, no. I'm
It's
like
tough.
trying to like explain it to her. So that's been interesting within itself.
Yeah, so we've been doing that too. We've been kind of alternating. My wife, will do math and like I'll do this. So making sure the girls are trying to getting an education is kind of tough during this time. But it also teaches you that it's hard to be a good teacher. It's hard. It's tough.
No, definitely. And so what would you say, what advice would you give to an aspiring YouTuber or a social media or storyteller? What advice would you give them to get to where you guys are right now?
Well, the only advice that I would have is that believe in what you're doing, because if you believe in what you're doing enough, then other people will believe as well. But if you don't believe in it, then nobody's going to believe in it. Like you can't fake your way through social media these days. Like people are onto you. So for us, we believe in the content that we're making. And so since I believe in it strongly, I feel that other people will believe in it as well. And the other thing is that there's no shortcut to being great at something. If you believe in the content that you're doing, create the best content you can through the software by learning it very well and take people's criticism, not personally, but say, you know what, I can get better and eliminate the things that are making people not watch what you're doing and do more of the things that people love. And I think that's what we've tried to do.
I got you. So did you guys ask for like feedback? Like, hey, like, how's this video? What'd you do with that?
No, we just leave the comment section open and we look there once in a while and people, they'll tell you right away. They'll tell you exactly what they like or love. And even now you still get a lot of negative comments, but at this point you just ignore it. You just ignore them all.
Right.
Okay. Because most of them aren't from constructive criticism. They're made because there's trolls and there's negative people. There are some people who show up to just complain anyhow.
Right. So how do you deal with that right there? Because my friend, he has like 173,000 subscribers or something like that. And his wife is Filipino, he's black, so you get some some racist comments, some things like
Yep.
that. So like, how do you deal with the negative comments in your in your
Yeah,
feed?
I just ignore it or block them.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like I give it no power, enthusiasm. Like you have to understand, these are trolls, and I don't have a better word for them. They're
Hmm.
trolls who are just spawning online, typing in things
Right.
to the things that I'm creating. Like I'm spending hours creating something. I'm not going to respond to someone who took 3 seconds to say something bad to me. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like they can get lost, because to be honest with you, I'm not that nice of a person in the comments. Like
Hmm.
if somebody said something negative to me, or I don't mince words. I'll tell you to get lost. Like I don't care.
Right. Right.
I don't need your friendship. Like I don't
Right.
need your friendship. There,
Right.
there, there, there are too many people out there pretending like they gotta be nice. And no, like some people are assholes. Get rid of
Right.
them. They don't need to be
Right.
here.
Right.
Get
Yeah.
like I said today. It's like somebody responded on my son has his own YouTube,
Hmm.
and somebody said something negative, and I basically just said, don't come back here. We don't need you. We don't need your view.
Right. Right.
So go. You
Right.
know.
Right. No, for sure.
But
Uh,
there are those people, but then there's everyone else that I'm extremely grateful for,
right.
because so many people have so many amazing things to say that fill your heart and make you feel great. But there are the trolls, and the best thing for that is just to ignore them.
Hmm. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because I think it's I love that approach, and on the flip end, I think it's easy to get caught up in like looking at it and be like, oh, like that holds so much weight in your life when it shouldn't hold that much weight in your life.
Yep.
Especially from a person that spent 3 seconds, and just like you said, you spent hours on hours creating this content.
Well, the hard part is like when you're early on in the game, like if you only have like you know several thousand subscribers and you only get a few comments, you
Hmm.
dwell on those because they're a big
Right.
deal. But when you get like a ton, like we do now, it's like you basically just gotta, because this is the truth that I wish I could tell people, is that comments do not help your video or not, on Instagram or anywhere. It's like, are people sharing it? Are they paying attention to it? Are they watching it for long amounts of time? That's what
Hmm.
the algorithm cares about. They don't care about these comments, good or
Right.
bad or whatever. They care about, if you have a 10-minute video and people watch 8 minutes of it, then YouTube's going to keep sending it out, because they're
Mm.
like, oh, we're making money off the ads. They don't care if it's getting a lot of thumbs down. Like they don't care.
Right. Right. Okay. See, hey, aspiring YouTubers. There you go, right there. Don't worry about the comments.
There you go.
And so my last couple questions for you is this right here. What do you want to be remembered as? Um, if for the people that don't, know you deeply, but what is one thing you want to be remembered by?
Man, I don't know how to say it, but I just want to be remembered.
Right.
For a little bit. I think about it more now as as you get older, but sometimes I think, do I want to be remembered as, certain qualities or attributes? I just want to be remembered.
Right.
And obviously I don't want to, like, now I know that I have no enemies. I'm a good person, I think. So there's nothing, you can't say anything bad about me. So I can't choose how you're going to remember me.
Hmm.
But you might remember me as a thoughtful creator.
Hmm.
You might remember me as a husband or a dad who cared. You might remember me as an intense person or something.
Hmm.
All of those things are fine as long as I'm remembered.
Mm.
I can't choose which one you're going to take, but all of those are fine because they're me. Or
Right.
maybe you remember me as a sober person. Really, I hope I'm remembered as somebody who cared about the life experience, who tried to have empathy when I could,
Hmm.
and I didn't live for myself, and I tried to make changes where I needed to, and I tried to live the best life I could. But
Right.
to be remembered for a couple generations would be great.
Mm. No, see, now you're thinking like a king.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think about it like how little I think about, maybe my grandfather, whatever. But when he was my age, was he thinking about being remembered?
Hmm.
And is he remembered now or not? And it's more about the choices that you made in your lifetime,
Mm.
the choices that are unselfish for other people. So I'm trying to make those choices so that I'm worth remembering.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah,
that
no, for sure.
but that's up to me.
Right.
I got to make those good choices.
Right, right. I got you. I got you. And my last two questions for you. So as a leader, you have a team. Your team is your wife,
My family.
yeah, your family. And so, how do you go about motivating and inspiring and keeping them happy? How do you go about doing that?
Um, I try to go about it by with humor, being positive,
Uh-huh.
um, being motivating. You
Mm-hmm.
know, being the one to lead by working hard,
Mm-hmm.
being the one to lead by saying, you know, we got to get out of the house and do something, but also being by leading by listening to the other people. What do they want to do? It's not about my happiness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we have four other people. Like, what do they want to do? What do they want to achieve? What is their
Mm-hmm.
happiness?
Right.
How can I help their happiness? And I think if I can help their happiness, I'm also going to be happy because I
Right.
like to give as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really, you know, when you are, if you're a leader, you don't lead as much as you just kind of collaborate with other people.
Mm.
And I think for me, that's what I'm trying to do, especially, you know, as a dad. I'm trying to collaborate and be a dad, but also like let my kids know I'm on their level too. Like you can talk to me, like
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about your feelings, or we can be silly. Like you don't have to yes sir, no sir me, you
Right.
know, that type of thing.
Right, right. No, I love that. I love that. And you know, at the end of every podcast, I try to allow my guests to give 3 actionable items for you know the business owner that they can take away to be their best self. You know what I mean? To get that edge. Um, so, what is 3 actionable items that you have?
Well, hopefully these are not cliche, but this is what I try to do is I don't really check my email or social media in the morning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I try to wait till like 11, 12
Mm-hmm.
because I want those first couple hours to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't want that stuff in my mind. I try to wake up with an agenda, and I don't want anything to get in the way of that.
Mm.
And a lot of times, if you check your Instagram or you check your YouTube or your email, things get in the way of what you had planned.
Right, that's true.
So start your morning off great.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I try to have really good workouts 3, 4 times a week. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
really good ones where at the end I'm just like, you know, I'm just laying down.
Right.
And those are super important. You know, healthy
Mm-hmm.
body, healthy mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's super important. And the other thing is what's the best way to put it is I try to not think about what I want as much, and I try to think about what value can I add to other people.
Mm. Yeah.
Like if I'm walking in a Starbucks and there's somebody walking near me, the value I can add is opening the door for them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say thank you and you're welcome. That makes me feel good.
Right.
But I added value. The value I can have with a video is I can make a video that makes people feel good.
Right.
The value on Instagram is that I can make a photo that makes people feel good.
Right.
And that's not about Justin saying what's good for Justin. That's me saying what is the value I can give to other people.
Right.
And so,
Right.
you know, that's what I try to do, because when I do that well, doors open.
Right.
People reach back to me and they say, man, I love what you did because it made me feel something. And like, I've met so many people that way, so many connections and networks happen because I'm just trying to think of what value I can add to other people.
Right. Right. No, I love that. I love that. So, don't check the emails in the morning until like 11 or 12. And then get a killer workout in. And then the last one is, how do you add value? So always have that in the forefront of your mind. Try to think about how you can add value to people's lives.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. And so, Justin, man, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. I know you're busy. I know you got a wife, 3 kids, and you got a business to run. And so I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on here and do this podcast with me.
Yeah, but do you remember what I said about gratitude? That's why I'm here. It's like I'm grateful that somebody would ask me to do anything. So I'm always happy to help, because there have been times in my life where it's like the same thing. Anytime if I ask somebody tomorrow, would they do my show? I'm so happy that they would say yes. So,
Right.
you know, I try to treat people the way I'd like to be treated. And at the same time, if you're truly grateful, then you will, you know, do things for other people. So I appreciate you asking me.
No, for sure. And everyone, you know, I hope you guys took some notes, because there's a lot of value that was added right here. And subscribe, like, share with somebody. And this is another episode of Game Time Excellence, where we talk about your mission, mindset, mastery, and maintenance. Hope you guys have a blessed day.